I'm Marianna Zimmerman, and I am the owner of The Best Is Yet to Come Designs, based in North Dallas, Texas. I specialize in modern luxury interior design. I started interior design later in life. I was a single mom for a really long time, and I always worked 2 jobs, and I'd put design on the back burner. I would decorate for family and friends, and I would spruce up my house, and then they would ask me, hey, can you do mine? Can you help me? And like I said, it was always on the back burner because I always worked 2 jobs. And until I didn't really start design my own business till after I was 40. So I went to school late. I started my business late, and I found myself playing catch up here and there, but it all worked out, and it happens when it happens. A lot of people ask me that, and it's, it kind of seems obvious to me because the before and after of a room, but I practice that in everyday life, from being that single mom, taking care of my son, working 2 jobs, always thinking better is to come. Just wait it out, better is to come. And I always felt like that, and especially with a before and after of a room. I always tell clients that. One time a client said to me, that's a Bible verse, and I had no idea. I had no idea, but it's just my motto of how I feel about a lot of things in life. Like I said, I started later in life, and a lot of things, didn't happen for me right away. So I always had to keep that thought process. I always joke around. I say I'm a city girl in a country world, because Texas is very, a lot of the style here is very old world traditional, or just traditional. And I mean, we have the design district, and there's certain areas that specialize in modern, but you don't see that a lot out here. So my niche is more modern, contemporary, luxury design, where I get a lot of people saying I have farmhouse, or I have traditional, and I want to change it to modern, or I at least want to update it to this century. If I had to say my superpower, what I feel is being relatable. Clients always say to me, I want to do everything. I want my house to look like this. I want to do this room, and I wish I could afford it. And I always joke with them, you and me both, but unless, we have a money tree in the backyard, or just, never-ending funds, you have to take it one step at a time, one room at a time, the right way. Line that clients always say to me, oh, your house must be gorgeous. Your house must be this. And it's like, no, mine's 6 years old, and we're taking it one step at a time also. Because, not only can it be overwhelming, cost-wise, but just overwhelming in general to do a lot at once. So I always say, come on, let's do one room at a time. We'll take it from here. Some quality things are going to be a little more costly, but we can save here. It does depend on the project, but I always, like when I meet a client and we're having a consultation and we're discussing their wants, their wish list, I always say, you have 20-foot windows. So you're going to spend the majority there on custom drapery. So let's pick neutral, because you don't want to spend thousands and thousands and have blue curtains and then get tired of them in a few years. You want something that's a neutral color that can go with the accessories that you have in the room that you can change out from here and there. Flooring, drapery, millwork if they want to do some accent walls. I try to point them in what's really going to be costly. But I think a lot of my clients say, oh, I follow you on Instagram, and I know that you love custom drapery, and but it's so costly. I said, you know what, you're right, it's an investment. It's definitely investment, and the look is not like retail. I have clients that'll see a project and they're like, oh, so that Fort Worth project you did, I want my living room just like that. And I'm like, well, that was about $42,000, not counting my fees. And they're like, oh, okay. They get, or if a client says, I want my whole entryway wallpapered, the whole hallway. And then I quote them on that, and they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know it was expensive. I'm like, yeah, I mean, they're doing all the professional work. It's a lot of work and it's tedious, and let's do paint instead. You'll still get a wow factor, and it'll be, you know, the fraction of the cost. As a business person in this field, to me, the biggest challenge is partners with, partnerships, contractors, painters, installers. It's having those partners that you can trust and rely on. Because I always say I'm only as good as the designs in my head. Somebody has to put that to work, I have a big respect for people in the trade as far as wallpaper, painters, floor, because, I've learned through the years. I used to be one of those people when I was younger. It's like, why does that cost so much? But when I see what's entailed and how much work, it's like I have a new respect for it. And I tell clients that, well, are you going to hang upside down and put wallpaper on the ceiling and make sure that it's in every cut and very perfect? I can walk into a house and think of the design right away. I think of all this creative, these creative ideas, but I need somebody to implement them. And so when I can partner with somebody that's really trustworthy and reputable and, just good to work with, that's the best. We had our wedding in Boston, and a lot of people traveled there from everywhere, my husband's family. And because we traveled so much during the process of wedding, we didn't have a honeymoon. Because my husband was out of work, we were going back and forth. He was missing a lot of time. And so what we did is we got married Labor Day weekend. It was like everybody was in a hotel in Boston on the water near Cape Cod. And they made a vacation of it. After our wedding was over, we drove to New York. And what we did is we did a 4-day tourist thing. I showed him the Empire State Building. We walked the Brooklyn Bridge. And we went on the Today Show. We got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, went on the Today Show, and we had signs saying we were married 4 days ago. And Al Roker and Savannah, they all interviewed us.